The single dad's hands were shaking so badly he could barely type the email. 15 years at the company. 15 years of never once asking for a favor. And now he was staring at his laptop screen at 11:15 in the morning, trying to find the courage to ask his boss for 2 hours off on a Friday afternoon. Because for the first time since his wife passed, he had a date. His daughter had picked out his shirt that morning. She was 7 years old, missing her 2 front teeth, and she'd said, "Daddy, you have to look handsome, okay? Like in the pictures with Mommy." He'd had to excuse himself to the bathroom so she wouldn't see him cry. Now he just needed his CEO to say yes. But this CEO had a reputation. Cold. Unreadable. The kind of man who once made a grown accountant cry over a rounding error. And the single dad was about to walk into his office and ask for something he'd never asked for before. A little bit of grace. He knocked twice on the glass door. The CEO didn't look up right away. He was maybe 50, gray at the temples, wearing a suit that probably cost more than the single dad's monthly rent. "Come in," the CEO said, still typing. The single dad stepped inside, his heart hammering like it did the day his daughter was born. "Sir, I know this is unusual. I've never asked for this before. But I was hoping I could leave 2 hours early on Friday. It's for a personal matter." The CEO finally looked up. His eyes were sharp, calculating, the kind of eyes that had fired people without blinking. "Personal matter," he repeated slowly, like he was tasting the words. "Everyone has a personal matter. What makes yours special?" The single dad felt his throat tighten. He hadn't expected to have to explain himself. But he took a breath and said the truth. "It's a date, sir. My first one since my wife died 3 years ago. My daughter helped me pick out my clothes this morning." The room went quiet. The CEO's jaw tightened, and something flickered behind his eyes that the single dad couldn't read. It almost looked like anger. "A date," the CEO said again, his voice suddenly colder. "During work hours." The single dad's stomach dropped. He'd made a mistake coming in here. He should have just called in sick like everyone else did. "I understand if it's not possible, sir. I can reschedule with her. It's fine." He turned to leave, humiliation burning in his chest, when the CEO said, "Sit down." Not a request. An order. The single dad sat, bracing himself for a lecture about company priorities, about work ethic, about how personal lives had no place in this building. Instead, the CEO stood up, walked to the window, and stared out at the city for a long moment. "You have a daughter," he finally said. It wasn't a question. "Yes, sir. Her name is Lily. She's 7. The CEO's shoulders tensed at the name, just slightly, so slightly the single dad almost missed it. "And your wife? How did she pass?" The single dad hadn't expected this question. Not from a man known for firing people over spreadsheet errors. "Cancer, sir. For years fighting it. She lost the battle 3 years ago this October." The CEO nodded slowly, still facing the window, his back rigid like he was holding something in. For a moment, the office felt smaller, heavier, like the air itself was thick with something unspoken. The single dad shifted in his seat, unsure if he should stay or go. Then the CEO spoke again, his voice quieter now, almost human. "You know what people say about me around here?" The single dad hesitated. "I've heard some things, sir. They call me the iceberg. Did you know that?" The single dad's face went red. I may have heard that once, sir." The CEO actually laughed, a short, humorless sound. "It's fine. It's accurate. I earned it." He turned around finally, and his eyes weren't cold anymore. They looked tired, old, like a man carrying something heavy for a very long time. 12 years ago, I had a wife too, and a daughter. My daughter would be about your Lily's age now, actually, if she'd lived." The single dad's breath caught in his throat. "Sir, I didn't know." "Nobody knows?" The CEO cut in. "I don't talk about it. Car accident. Both of them gone in the same night. I was working late that night, closing a deal that made this company $40 million. They were driving home from her dance recital without me. The silence in the room was suffocating now. The single dad didn't know what to say, so he said nothing, just let the CEO speak. I told myself I'd make it up to them, that I'd take her to the next recital and the one after that. I always had a next time in my head. Then one night there was no next time. He walked back to his desk slowly, sat down, and looked directly at the single dad. You asked me for 2 hours. 2 hours to go be a father, to go be a man who still believes in love even after losing everything. Do you understand what you're asking me to say no to? The single dad felt tears building behind his eyes, and he didn't fight them this time. I think I'm starting to, sir. The CEO nodded. When you walked in here today, I was jealous of you. Isn't that ridiculous? A grown man, jealous of an employee asking for an afternoon off. But you still have the chance I lost. You still have time with your daughter. And now you might have someone to build a life with too. His voice cracked slightly on those last words, just barely, but enough for the single dad to hear it. Sir, if this is too hard to talk about, we don't have to. No, the CEO said, holding up a hand. I need to say this. I spent 12 years turning my pain into ice, into rules, into being the man everyone's afraid of, because it was easier than feeling anything at all. But watching you stand here, terrified to ask for 2 hours because you're scared of disappointing your daughter's memory of her mother, that's not weakness. That's the bravest thing I've seen in this building in years. The single dad wiped his eyes with the back of his hand, embarrassed but unable to stop. She used to tell me I'd know when I was ready to move forward. I didn't believe her. I still don't know if I'm ready. The CEO leaned forward. Nobody's ever ready. You just decide the people you love deserve to see you try. Then he did something that shocked the single dad more than anything else that had happened that morning. He picked up his phone and called his assistant. Clear my 3 o'clock, he said, and block off the rest of the afternoon for. He looked at the single dad. What's your name, by the way? I realized in 15 years I never actually asked. The single dad told him, and the CEO wrote something down, then hung up the phone. Take the whole afternoon, not 2 hours. The whole thing. Go pick out flowers with your daughter. Let her help you get ready. Those moments matter more than any meeting ever will. The single dad sat there stunned, unable to process the kindness pouring out of a man everyone in the building was terrified of. Sir, I don't know how to thank you. The CEO stood up and extended his hand, something he'd never done with an employee before. Don't thank me. Just promise me something. Promise me you won't wait for a next time that might not come. Take your daughter to every recital. Take your date to dinner and actually be present. Don't let work steal moments you can never get back. I learned that lesson in the worst way a man can learn it. The single dad shook his hand, feeling the weight and sincerity behind the gesture. I promise, sir. As he turned to leave, the CEO called out one more time. And bring Lily by the office sometime. I'd like to meet her, if that's all right. The single dad smiled through his tears. She'd like that. She likes meeting new people. So did my daughter, the CEO said softly, and for a moment, both men stood there, connected by loss and hope in a way neither had expected that morning. That Friday, the single dad picked up his date at 6 o'clock sharp, wearing the shirt Lily had chosen, with a small handwritten note in his pocket that Lily insisted he carry, one that simply said, Mommy would be happy for you, Daddy. 3 months later, the CEO kept his word. Lily marched into that glass office with a drawing she made specially for him. A picture of 3 stick figures holding hands under a bright yellow sun. The CEO kept that drawing framed on his desk from that day forward, right next to a photo nobody in the office had ever seen before, a photo of a little girl in a dance recital costume, smiling at the camera like she had the whole world ahead of her. The single dad's relationship grew into something steady and real, built on patience and shared grief that slowly turned into shared joy. And the CEO, the man they used to call the iceberg, started leaving the office early himself sometimes, just to sit in the park and watch children laugh, letting himself feel something he'd locked away for over a decade. Sometimes the coldest people are simply carrying the heaviest hearts, waiting for someone brave enough to remind them that it's never too late to feel again. And that kindness, even in small moments, is what makes us human. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a comment to share your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Wings of Kindness for more inspiring stories. Remember, even the smallest act of kindness can change someone's life forever.